Hello everyone, welcome back to another one of these collection videos. Something a little different today, an ongoing collection, one that will be added to in the future. Still some stuff to look out for, but so far our German language, especially like Region 2 TV and movie collection. And start off with a couple of kids shows I want to have up front here while I talk a little bit about why I even have some of this stuff. As you know, I'm from the US, if you're not familiar with my channel, but I like to give context for a lot of the stuff and why I even have it. Some favorite kids cartoon stuff that I remember watching in German: Sinbad and Die Biene Maya, that I remember watching in the mornings over at my grandparents'. So for context, as you can probably tell from my name, I have a German background. My dad actually moved to the US from Germany, married my mom, and I was the oldest of 3 kids. So I was a very little kid all the way through my teenage years. I would go visit my dad's side of the family in Germany, particularly staying with my grandparents roughly every other summer, and then a couple of Christmases, and then when I was 11 I actually went on my own and stayed for a good portion of the summer with my grandparents. So through that I grew up as a kid spending a lot of time watching some German TV, visiting my grandparents a lot. I remember watching a lot of stuff on like ProSieben and RTL, just different channels in Germany, different shows or German dub version of American shows. So a lot of my collection is a lot of that kind of stuff that I remember. And the reason why, especially in recent years, I started trying to find a lot of those shows, and sometimes it's a little harder to import a lot of stuff from Germany, so that's why I'm still some things looking out for this collection. But when I was a kid, I knew a lot of German from just visiting my family. But even when I was a bit younger, my dad struggled a lot with alcohol and eventually died very young, and my parents got divorced and went through a period after my young childhood where I pretty much teenage rebellion, didn't want anything to do with anything German or learning German, and then a lot of complicated family things, but everyone who was German speaking in that side of the family is either long dead, including my own father, or has just not been a part of my life for almost 20 years now. So I, in a weird way, until recently, was probably more fluent in German when I was 7 than 37, because it's been such a long time that I've even had any inkling to even think about anything in German. But as I've gotten older, I have wanted to reconnect with that part of who I am as a person, part of who I was growing up, and having a lot of fond memories of those times in Germany with family, and wanting to kind of reconnect with that. And at some point in the near future, I will be going back to Germany for the first time since, I think the last time I was there was like 2007, maybe 2005 I think was probably the last time I was there. So first time in a long time. That was the last time I really spoke any German to anyone. So part of being a way to reconnect with a lot of that was finding a lot of the TV shows and movies and stuff that I have memories of, and being a way to kind of reawaken, I guess, that part of myself. And part of that is in this kind of stuff. So that's why a lot of this kind of things that I remember watching. And then on top of that, being able to get into some more modern German TV stuff as well, being able to explore some of that. So these are just a couple examples of some cartoons that I remembered watching at my grandparents in Germany. So ones I have very fond memories of. And then we have collection 2 of Chip and Chap, which is the German Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Die Ritter des Rex, which basically like the Knights of the Right, or Knights of the Law kind of thing. I think is a more intense subtitle than the Rescue Rangers. But Chip and Chap, I remember them a lot because for some reason whenever we would fly there on Lufthansa, they always had news and cartoons on in the early morning at the long flight, and this was always on every single time we went. For some reason, I don't know what was going on with that airline, but every single time we went to Germany, we watched on the plane episodes of Chip and Chap. So we have some Chip and Chap with the German dubbing and a few classic Disney movies as well. Recognize Little Mermaid and 101 Dalmatians. Some classic, kids stuff. As well as some sitcoms. A lot of the sitcom stuff has actually been stuff I've kind of slowly accumulated over the years. We live in a fairly German heritage area in the US, and it wasn't until very recently that I had a nice functional multi-region or region-free DVD player. So for years I just kind of sat on the occasional German language sitcom season that I would find. We have The Simpsons, seasons 1 and 2. Something I remember being very popular over there with some of my relatives. Season 4 of Home Improvement, another popular 90s sitcom. And a real classic, we have season 7 of MASH. And one of the categories of things that I'd like to look for a little bit when I am in Germany, some Nickelodeon. The only thing we have is one of the German releases of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Because Nickelodeon was a huge part of my childhood in the US, but it came a little later to Germany. I actually vividly remember seeing a listing for Nickelodeon when I was in Germany one summer, I think it was, and clicking on it and being really excited. And it was just this coming soon kind of message, and only saw a little bit of Nick stuff, so it'd be cool to have some of those kind of things. A lot of the sitcom and favorite childhood kind of stuff is a big focus for me because of my reasonings for wanting to learn German, and that's sort of like a great way of restarting, I guess, in a way, like re-remembering and learning stuff. Is a lot of that childhood kind of content, as well as a lot of favorite TV shows of all time kind of things. The stuff that I basically watch a lot of and that I have pretty much memorized in English. That's a good way of re-exploring it in a different way in German. So we have did an unboxing of this on the channel as well. This complete series 37 DVD set of Xena, Warrior Princess. That's another thing that is really nice, is that I am a big fan of science fiction and fantasy movies and television in particular. And that is all very big in Germany, so that's a good connection with a lot of stuff that I like. In particular, Star Trek. Germany has a huge Star Trek fandom, especially TNG, to the point where I have a couple of volumes, the season 6 and 7 sets of these Amazon Germany exclusive TNG steelbooks. And one of the benefits of Germany being such a huge Star Trek area is that a lot of the Blu-rays for Star Trek releases, not all of them, but a lot of the actual discs are actually manufactured in Germany for a lot of Star Trek. And in general, a lot of the newer Star Trek Blu-ray releases tend to be a little more multi-regional, so the complete series TNG box set that I have has German as well for the entirety of TNG, so that's a great one to rewatch, a show that I've rewatched endlessly since I was a kid, as well as the Enterprise complete series set. And then on DVD, a couple of these PAL Region Collectors sets, a lot of Star Trek. Yeah, some TNG, as well as Season 4 of Voyager, and Season 7 of DS9. So a whole lot of Star Trek including one of my favorites because it is one of the few TV releases on HD DVD. We have this German exclusive TOS release. The entirety of TOS Season 1 was released on HD DVD, but in Germany we got this preview disc previewing the remaster, a bunch of special features, as well as 3 episodes of the show. And there's a picture of the complete set on the back. So this is a really cool German exclusive. As well as 1 season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 3. My favorite overall season of that show. And the Peacekeeper Wars. The Peacekeeper Wars was initially not released individually in North America on Blu-ray, only available in one of the anniversary sets, and now again in the newest one released by Shout Factory. So my 2 individual Peacekeeper War Blu-rays are actually imports, one from Australia and this one from Germany. So this one has the German dub on it, as well as one kind of oddball, old school German music release from an older TV show, The Hit Parade. Dieter Thomas Heck präsentiert Hier ist Berlin, das Beste aus der ZDF, which is like the most popular channel in Germany that I remember. A bunch of these from the 60s and 70s, I think mostly 70s was when it was more popular, and I think it maybe ended in the 80s. But I remember seeing some like random reruns of some stuff, and the main reason why I wanted to grab this individual release years ago, because it's interesting performances and a look at some TV history. But you can see a little picture here. The number 1 thing was Franz Gall, and her rendition of her Alibaba song on that show was fantastic. So it's kind of like a weird random one. And another kind of oddball one, there are definitely some classic German language movies that have been released in the US that I just have not run across copies of. But this one I had to bring up. I randomly found it at a thrift store, and I was like, I gotta watch this, Downfall, because you know that famous clip of Hitler kind of losing it, where they put all kinds of subtitles underneath, like pretending what he's saying, like, I can't believe they canceled Firefly, or different stuff like that. It's actually from this movie with Bruno Ganz, Downfall. So it was just a funny thing when I found this at a thrift store. I'm like, I've never actually seen that movie, but I know it's from this. I gotta check it out. And it's actually a pretty decent movie. So the last couple things that we have, again, there's like just so much out there, but this is what we have for the collection so far. This King Kong collection on Blu-ray has English and German, because it is a German collection. And it has King Kong, Son of Kong, and Mighty Joe Young. And I think it's a great set, and tons of extra features, and a lot of it's all the original like English audio and the German dub and everything. So I thought that was a great classic movie and a great German set, as well as this Fritz Lang epic that I vividly remember staying up late because my grandparents were watching this. It's actually it was split into 2 when it was released in movies because it's so long. But Fritz Lang's Indian epic, The Tiger of Vishnupur and the Indian Tomb. And I remember being like 9 years old and really invested in that snake dance. This is really great, epic. That was fun to relive when I first grabbed that Blu-ray. And as well as trying to relive this kind of stuff, I've been trying to watch some more modern things. There's a couple of things that you can watch pretty easily on stuff like Netflix, like the German version of Nailed It and a couple other things. Not a whole lot that's super easily accessible, but a couple of modern shows that I really got into was this Deutschland series that I talked about before on this channel, 83, 86, and 89, which we got from Kino Lorber just Season 1, so only Dry and Oxic, and we didn't get the rest of them. That was really cool, fun spy thriller made in Germany, all about, you know, the Cold War era and East and West Berlin up through the fall of the Berlin Wall. I thought this was a great series, but my favorite one that I hope we get season 4. I have to import it if they don't release it, but so far seasons 1 and 2 and 3 were released here in the US. So far only in PAL territories for season 4 as far as like a physical release, but Kino Lorber has done 1, 2, and 3 of Babylon Berlin, which is one of my absolute favorite modern TV shows. I think it is fantastic. So it's been a lot of fun getting into some more modern German stuff as well. But again, I just wanted to kind of show what is in that collection so far. Really, like, it's not really a, you know, collections I usually define as like a certain genre or TV series or movie collection or whatever, but this is just sort of like what's in German. But just kind of sharing that portion of what is in our movie and TV collection, and of course there'll be other things in the future, especially when I go to Germany. Interesting to find, and just kind of share that portion of myself as well, because that's a lot of, you know, that's why I have the things that I have, is because of the whatever meaning they have for me. So something a little different I wanted to do today. And I'd love to hear what some of your favorite, you know, German language shows are, whether that's something like more modern out there, or, you know, a classic thing from your childhood, especially if you are a German viewer of my channel. I know there's a few of you out there. I'd love to hear what some of your favorites growing up were, and if there's anything I should really look out for. As you can see by the variety of stuff that I have, kind of what my general interests are. Like, what were some of your favorite German exclusive shows that you think I might be interested in checking out, or what are some of your favorite dubs of some American, you know, science fiction or fantasy shows? Like, what ones were really popular in your youth that maybe I didn't get a chance to see, that have like really strong, you know, German versions? Und zum Schluss noch habe ich eine Frage. Würdest du zuschauen, wann ich ein paar Videos auf Deutsch machen würde, um meine Deutschkenntnisse zu üben?